What is going on, everybody? Welcome to another edition of Keeping It EPL. It's in not Tottenham's game. Oh, man. How much more can we talk about Tottenham? Just last week, we were talking about, hey, if they could pull off a trophy,
Nope.
then perhaps maybe Ainge will stay. Well, they got absolutely, what's the word? Slaughtered by Liverpool at Anfield in the Carabao Cup.
Yes.
And there is good news is that it looks like the EPL will be getting 5 Champions League spots, which means the Europa League will push down. So maybe they could climb their way up to something.
Well, technically, if they win Europa League, they qualify for champions.
Also, they have that too. So we'll see if they can do that. But I mean, I have no faith in them right now. I mean,
And
they're
they
just
play Aston Villa in the FA Cup this weekend. So
yeah, the injuries are just there, and it's showing that they're playing teenagers that I mean it wasn't all bad against Liverpool, yeah, right? I mean,
no shots on target.
okay,
The
maybe it was.
midfield would have been better if it was a sieve. Like sieves hold more water than that midfield did.
True.
The back line obviously is what it is. Even the new, Kevin Danzo, I thought played pretty well in his first game for Tottenham. Tell came on because Richarlison got injured.
Yeah, another big loss.
And Tell looks like he's into it. He was yelling at his teammates. He's known for 2 days to come press and which direction they should be going and whatnot. But yeah, and I get it. Like people tired. Okay, I'm tired of the excuses.
Yeah,
Since
it's
the
to the
Chelsea
point
game last
now
year,
where
it's not been good.
yeah, and it's not looking easy for them either. I think like again, they're not going to be relegated. It's just going to be a bad year. But I just don't see these players working in Ange's system. We talked about this in nauseum, and I still think a change needs to happen. And I would, if I wouldn't wait if I was Tottenham, I would do it now. I would do it absolutely now while everyone's injured, while you have all these young
Hell, they
players.
fired a coach on the eve of a Champions League final. So what the heck's stopping them now?
Yeah, I mean, and then you have a new coach come in with having to play all these young players and see, what he can develop and what you can move forward. I mean, that's kind of where I
But
stand on
congrats,
it.
they signed an Irish wonder kid who can't even come over till next January
Nice. Say that's gonna work out.
because he's not even 18, and because of Brexit rules, he can't come until the transfer window after his 18th birthday, which is next January.
That's fun.
Whee!
So Tottenham's still a broken ship bringing in water, going across the ocean. It's hasn't quite hit the iceberg yet.
Virgil van Dijk, that elbow wasn't really great.
Yeah, okay. It wasn't the best, but it was what it was. And would that really have mattered?
Probably not.
Yeah.
2-0 to a 10-man squad.
Yeah. So, yeah, it wouldn't really have mattered. But here we are, Liverpool. I think who are they facing in the Carabao Cup? Newcastle. That's right. And
Newcastle beat the ever-loving daylights out of Arsenal
correct.
twice.
And Newcastle last game gave Liverpool fits and ended up a draw where Newcastle was ahead twice in that one too, I believe. So that could be an interesting game. But obviously Liverpool will be favored in that, and then we can move on to the other actual meaningful cups we have here in the England tier system. Man City, man, I really thought they were back, and then Arsenal played him out of the building. They played him out of the building, man.
What was the more shocking? Which was the more shocking scoreline for you last weekend? Nottingham Forest 7-0 over
something.
Brighton, or Arsenal 5-1 over Man City?
Probably the Arsenal one, to be honest, because Brighton's been kind of flailing lately, and we already talked about how Nottingham Forest is who we thought they were.
Yeah, but Nottingham Forest also hadn't scored more than 3 goals in any game this year.
But you have those, and sometimes you have those, and
they also, by the way, only had 36% possession.
That's okay. That's
Sorry.
insane.
They had 36% possession and won
That
7
is,
nothing.
that is insane. Okay, I'll give you that. That is something. But, I mean, wow. But, I mean, the Arsenal one is a little bit more shocking because, you look at Man City and they were coming back. They were winning. They were winning by a large margin. Erlin was scoring goals. They were when we recorded this show last week, they were out of the Champions League at the time, and then by the time, it all played out, they were in, and, we'll talk
Right.
about their draw here in a minute. It's not the best.
They had made it back to 4th in the Premier League
Correct. And
table.
then, Arsenal just had their number, and Arsenal's still in it. They're 6 down with a game in hand. That game will be played on Wednesday between Everton and Liverpool. And,
By the way, if I was Liverpool, I would have rather just played in the
yeah,
windstorm
because Everton has been really,
because
really good lately.
Everton looks legit.
They've been playing really, really well lately. And that's going to be an interesting game. But
Yes.
more on that a little bit because the Champions League draw is something to behold because poor Man City. Not only do they squeak by and get in, with a great second half, scored multiple goals to get in.
Yep.
Well, turns out they get to play Real Madrid.
Now, I will say in favor of Man City, this is the time to go play Real Madrid because they've got injury
that
issues. They have basically no defense.
that is true. That is
Um,
true. And
they're
Liverpool
playing 2
Liverpool did
midfielders,
beat them
center
pretty
back.
handily in the league or the table. I don't know what you call it, group play, I guess. Earlier in the Champions League as well, and they have the same issues. So yeah, but I mean, Man City though. I mean, we're talking about the team that shouldn't have won the Champions League a few years ago when they beat Liverpool in the Champions League. We're talking about a team that finds ways to win the Champions League. This is they're the
Mhm.
best Champions League team probably ever, all time. So it's not going to be easy. And
No.
and then now what's funny is the winner of that either plays Atletico or Leverkusen, which will be interesting. I don't know why we have to do another draw after this. Just draw it out. I don't know. I guess they are drawing it out, but like just no, it's just weird. But Liverpool obviously ended up top of the table. Aston Villa, surprisingly, that day got in to a bye, and they kind of have a easy path here for them.
But I mean, but they did what they were just supposed to do in the
Yeah.
group play,
Mm-hmm.
right? The better you are in group play, the easier your road gets the rest of the way. So I can't really fault Aston Villa for doing what they were
And
supposed to
Arsenal,
do.
who ended up uh, third overall on the table. So we had 3 Premier League teams who got a bye, which is crazy. They have a tougher path if Milan is the team that they'll have to play. Feyenoord, yeah, that'll be easy. But so you could argue, and then Liverpool, there's a chance they could be playing PSG as the number one.
Yeah, but this isn't the normal
Also,
PSG though.
also true. But Aston Villa, you're looking at Club Brugge or Atalanta.
And Atlanta's
And
rolling
Club
right now.
Brugge barely squeaked in on goal difference in the whole thing. So
Yeah.
it's yeah. So Aston Villa has a little easy setup here, but after that, they're either gonna if they were to get by that, they're either gonna have to deal with Barcelona or Liverpool. So that would be an interesting match there as well. So, but hey, we're talking about all what 4 or 5? Yeah, all 4 Premier League teams are still moving on. So it's good news for the Premier League as a whole in this.
Yes.
But
Yes, it
I'm
is. It's also good news going next year because it not locks in, but it's looking very good for five
pretty
Premier
much,
League teams to make Champions League.
pretty
Um,
much,
Although it'd be hilarious if Spurs win Europa and make Champions League and they finish like 13th in the table.
yeah.
So like Chelsea or Man City finishes 5th and don't get to go. Um, be If it's Chelsea, it'd be the second year in a row that Chelsea wouldn't have made the European competition they were supposed to make because a team lower than them in the table won a
Mm.
trophy to qualify. Because Man U is in Europa because they won the FA Cup last year.
Yeah.
And Chelsea should have been in Europa, not the Conference League. And so if Chelsea winds up finishing in a Champions League spot, but one of the Premier League teams wins Europa League, then they'll go to Champions League over Chelsea,
Mm.
who would then be bumped to Europa League and for the second year in a row be in a lesser
That would be
European
fun.
tournament than they should be.
That'll be fun. But yeah, so the Champions League's looking like it's going to be fun as well. But hey, let's
That also banks on, by the way, Man U or Tottenham winning
yeah, good luck
something.
with that.
So you're probably
Yeah,
safe there,
Man.
Chelsea.
Well, ironically enough, Tottenham and Man U, I play each other next, so something has to give, right?
Yeah,
Something has to give there. Um, let's.
that's
So
such
the
a
Arsenal
bad game.
win, going back to that, was huge, obviously over Man City, keeps them within 6 points. Next up for Arsenal, they have Leicester, so that's probably going to be a little walk in the park for them, I'd imagine. Um,
I would have.
keeping the Premier League title alive. However, odds have shifted, and Liverpool percentage wise has a 91.18 chance of winning the Premier League now, the highest percentage they have had all season. So,
Yeah, I mean, assuming they knock off Everton Wednesday, they'd be 9 points clear with what
yep. And
14 to
last week we
go.
talked about how if Man City won the game against Arsenal, they're back in it. Well, now they're officially out. They just lost 3 more points to Liverpool. They have 0.002 chance of winning now. Arsenal still holding strong at 8.79, and Chelsea a little sliver of a percentage as well. But for the most part, yeah, it's going to be a 2-horse race with the advantage Liverpool. Now you're right with like 14 left to go. I mean, it's anything could happen. You know, injuries could happen. What if Mo Salah gets hurt? I mean, anything. Knock on that wood. You know what I'm saying? Anything could happen at any
Yeah,
given time in the Premier League. But it's looking good for Liverpool fans out there and whatnot. The transfer window is closed and done. Man
yes,
City bought everybody. Um,
200 million. They spent more on their transfer window than the rest of the Premier League
so, do
combined.
you think that that is a smart move because they're in kind of a weird transition? And some of these, I think De Bruyne won't be back next year. Who knows when Rodri will actually be ready and fit to play actual games? Um,
Yep,
and you're going to have obviously Grealish needs to go. He, um,
Kyle
Kyle
Walker
Walker's
just went.
gone. So I doing the smart thing is doing it now because a lot of other teams don't really focus on this transfer window as much because it's in season. Liverpool, who do they need? They're fine. Their depth is great. They're going to probably need a lot in the offseason because they're going to lose some players. But so there's really no
And now you're
competition.
bringing them
There's
in,
really no competition.
and yeah, now Man City's not in they're
If
still
they
in
get the
Champions
five, they
League.
would be, yeah.
No, no, no. I mean, like
Oh
this
yeah,
year,
they're still
right
in it.
now, they
Yeah,
are
they're still in that. They're
but they're not in a hunt for a Premier League title at
mhm.
this point. They're not in Carabao. They're not. They're
I
still in
don't.
FA.
I think Real Madrid's going to find a way to win that game. They always do. But
Yeah,
um,
Man City's still in FA Cup, and
they're
there's
also
still
still
plenty of
Man City. And they
smaller.
still have that pedigree and that name because of
Yeah,
recent bias. Like even though if I'm a transfer and I want to come to the Premier League and I have my options of teams buying, probably Man United, Tottenham, obviously, and Man City. I'm still choosing Man City over those other two, but just because of recency and what they have there, and Pep arguably being since Klopp left, I guess the best coach in the world, the most entertaining, that's for sure. But um,
yeah, and I would say that now is a good time if you're coming into Man City. Like we talk about how it takes a while for players to get used to Pep's
mhm.
system and tactics, and they're not usually all that game ready for Man City for a few months after they get there. Well, now you have game action without a whole lot of pressure because you're not going down, but you're also not. It's not like every mistake you make may cost you a Premier League title. You're basically already out of that. right? You're fighting for Champions League. You probably should wind up there. But again, like now you get in-game action in his system without the pressure of having to be perfect. And so maybe that helps him going in the next year because now this bumper crop of transfers has already had 4 or 5 months of game
Mhm.
action. And they'll have the FIFA Club World Cup coming up, you know,
Mhm.
too, um, which I think is in the US, if I'm not
That's
mistaken.
yeah, but that's
Um,
people don't take that seriously. The
no, I'm just saying it's more games to get used to Pep's system before what
what's
actually matters for
is
them
the
next
FIFA
year.
Club one is the one where
It's,
every champion from what's that one? That one's stupid too. Every champion from
yeah, I think it's every champion from
yeah,
every
whoever wins the
league in the
Champions League
world
has that one in the bag. It's not even close, you know? Yeah,
generally. Although they're adding more, like I think the Saudi league now is in there, and MLS is now in
yeah.
there.
Oh boy. Saudi League may have a chance with the amount of money
They
they
got a
pay to
Messi.
play their players. That's probably their Super Bowl
And by the way, did you see Messi's kid put up like 11 goals?
in one game. My
Yeah,
God.
he's playing for the Inter Miami
Mhm.
U13 team, and they played against Atlanta FC's U13 team. And Messi's kid, they Inter Miami beat him 12-0,
Jesus.
and Messi's kid had I think 11 of the 12 goals.
Now, is he already good enough in, like, getting looked at by bigger clubs out there?
I don't
Or
know.
is it just he's playing against, lesser talent?
He's playing against kids that should be playing against like not
Yeah,
Messi's
it's
kid.
true. I mean, I would imagine if he was, like, as good as Messi by now, you'd how old is he? You said 13?
He's on the
Yeah,
U13s,
okay.
so
Yeah, like, eventually he'll move to, like, a Barcelona youth or something like that, you know what I mean? Like, he has to if he's that
probably.
good. I mean, he should. I mean, he has the family pedigree and all that, but if he's that good,
Yeah, the minute list next to his name was
jeez.
ridiculous.
So, that's fun. We need another Messi. Is there a Ronaldo Jr. out there? I don't know. We'll see. I know Cristiano Ronaldo has
There
a
may
son.
be.
We'll see if that becomes a thing, um, the Saudi league, I mean, they're spending all this money, but now a lot of the players that they spent their money on are old, right? There's a lot of
Yes.
aging out players like Sadio Mane and, Fabiano, Cristiano
Well, I
Ronaldo.
mean, and even the younger ones they've spent money on, like Ivan Toney went there this summer. Have we heard
No.
anything about him?
I didn't
He's
even
still
know
alive.
that Jordan Henderson, ex-Liverpool captain, with I knew he went there, but he's not even there anymore. He's playing for some random ass team in, like, Italy or something, like, he
Jordan Henderson's in the Arab the
oh,
Dutch
good.
league.
Even worse.
He's in the Dutch league. Um, yeah, who just went? Somebody just went this
Some
transfer window.
wasn't it Duran? It was John Duran.
Yeah, and he's gonna travel 500 kilometers a day to train with Al Nasser because in Saudi Arabia, they won't let you live with a woman if you're not married. And so his girlfriend is living in
Oh my
Bahrain,
god.
and so he's gonna go live with her in Bahrain and then travel 500 kilometers a day to go train with the
Yeah.
team.
Hey, but I think that was kinda
And by the way, for those of you that don't know how far 500 kilometers is, it's
yeah,
310 miles.
it's like from me from Fresno driving to LA every day. Train and back.
It's
I'm
a
sure he's not
decent
driving.
it's a
Let's put it that way. With the money he just got, he's not driving. That's for sure. But
or it's almost the entire trip from like Newcastle to Bournemouth every
top to the
day.
bottom. That's
It's
like
ridiculous.
I understand him wanting the money, and he's seeing these players do it. And, now we're not going to hear from him. I'm sure, we're not. And but it was a good.
By the way, that sale helped the Chicago Fire. They
It's
got money out
crazy,
of it.
but it does help Aston Villa. It really does because they could spend more money on some other players. They were using him as a bring on striker. I mean, obviously, Ollie Watkins is their guy. So, make good use of what they have, and they're still in the Champions League. They're still in a place to
They just brought on
yeah,
four
and
new
they're still in a
dudes,
place to
including Marcus
be in
Rashford.
European club tournaments next year. So good move all the way around, I think, for Aston Villa, getting rid of him, and I don't the Saudi league, they have the money, but nobody cares, and
Yeah.
it's I don't see it becoming a thing. I mean, I would put MLS over probably gets watched more than Saudi league. I mean,
Oh,
it's
for
crazy.
sure.
Probably whatever Jordan Henderson's doing now is probably gets watched more than Saudi.
I think MLS was the fourth most watched league
So
in the
Premier
world last
League,
year.
obviously La Liga, Serie A, and then MLS?
No, I think it was. I think Bundesliga is above
Oh, you know why?
uh,
Because
Serie A.
Bundesliga has that huge TV deal, and they're worldwide. Where yeah, Serie A is not, but La Liga is. But yeah, Serie A is not. So that makes sense actually.
Yeah, Serie A you got to watch on what CBS or
Yeah, you can
something. I
only
think.
watch it on an app or something like that. Yeah,
Yeah, Bundesliga I watch on ESPN.
every day or every morning when it's on. Yeah, there's always a game.
Yeah,
La
Liga,
Liga's
same
on
with
all the
ESPN.
time, obviously. So yeah, that's crazy. And Serie A is having a good year. You got some good teams there, which is crazy. You got AC Milan
Yes,
turnaround. You have Inter Milan,
Juventus.
Juventus, who's been struggling a bit lately, but they got through to the Champions League next round. But and then there's another team I'm missing, but they've been playing great as well too. But so there's some good teams over there. But the Premier League is what we talk about here. And this weekend is the Super Bowl, because I don't know if I can say BOWL legally. So we're going to call it the Super
Yeah,
Bowl.
the
There you
superb
go. The
owl.
Superb Owl. We talked about Liverpool probably winning the Premier League this year, but we got two teams left in the Super Bowl.
By the way, did you see some of the Liverpool fans yesterday had Chiefs
I hate
beanies on
that.
their head?
I hate that, but no.
It did. I was watching the game
Well, they're
yesterday,
red,
and
So yeah, I
they
guess
are
that's
red.
what it is. We need a red team in the NFL. Well, you got the 49ers or the Chiefs. Who wins all the time? The Chiefs. Just like Liverpool. Okay, we'll be the Chiefs. I don't know. That was just a rant. But that's why we're on the Rants Network, baby. You know. Who do you got? Who do you got? Who do you got? Who's winning? Who's winning?
Well, I'm
Okay.
a Chiefs fan, so
Boo.
but I do think it's going to be really close. I am legitimately concerned that they're not going to win because the Eagles are that
Yeah.
talented.
They have a better team this
Um,
year than they did 2 years ago.
I do. I did hear reports of an illness going through the Eagles
Why is
locker
it every
room.
big game I hear that and it never matters?
Yeah, I don't know.
It's like
They were talking about Jalen Carter may not be. I'm like, it's Wednesday, man.
who
He's
was
got
that?
like
Who
5
was
days
that
to.
number one team in the NCAA tournament that had like a flu bug or whatever going around, and they ended up winning the championship? Like it's like, come on,
Oh
come
yeah,
on, man.
I I don't know.
UConn,
You hear that, it's like, okay, well, we made it through COVID, and
yeah, we
people
have
were, you know,
IVs and
people were.
shots for this stuff. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, just give them a horse tranquilizer,
Yeah,
they'll be fine.
exactly.
Like,
So, well,
just eat
I
dodgeball.
don't really have a pick.
Um,
I'm not really going either way. I don't like the spread. I agree with you. This is a better Eagles team. Like I said, Saquon Barkley, if the Chiefs have had a little bit of a weakness, has been that run game recently in recent weeks.
it has, however, they have faced, I think, 4 previous runners to finish top
Yeah,
10.
I mean, you had
Uh,
James Cook, you had Mixon twice, you had Mixon twice,
Chuba
Chuba Hubbard.
Hubbard.
Okay, Chuba Hubbard. I always want to chew bubble.
He finished top
I
10 in
always want to
rushing
chew
this year.
bubble gum when I hear his name. I don't know why.
I mean, sure, but I'm just talking, like, faced Derrick Henry, he didn't do very much. They faced, um, you know, they faced some good rushing attacks this year, and they have held it at bay long enough to win. Now, Saquon is a whole
Yes.
different story. The Eagles had more rushing touchdowns in the NFC Championship game than the entirety of the Dallas Cowboys had all season.
Poor Rico Dowdle.
Yeah. And Zeke and everybody else. Um, so I am legitimately concerned the defensive line is very good for the Eagles. However, Vic Fangio, the defensive coordinator for the Eagles, has faced Patrick Mahomes 8 times in his career, and Patrick Mahomes is 8-0 against Vic
Yeah,
Fangio.
it's true. I think it's going to be a close game. I think it's going to be
Yeah,
Low scoring game. If I had to pick the under, I would. But I also, I think it's going to be a fast game, as in not fast as in like up and down the field. I mean fast as in the time is going to go off the clock quickly in this one because of the
yeah,
slow, methodical drives, the run plays, the short passes, which Mahomes has been doing all year with a almost unbeatable deep ball defense.
yeah. These two teams lead were like top 5 in the league in most drives of
Yeah.
10 plays or more.
So I think this game's gonna go
Um,
quick. And I think it's gonna be low scoring and close. And I just think the Chiefs are gonna find a way to pull it off at the end, man. It just a Harrison Butker boom, and we're done. So it's gonna be interesting. I'm not too excited about it. I'm sure you are. I'm sure you're having a whole party and everything, but
no, I'm
yeah,
just
I'll be
watching it, but
watching
like, yeah, I mean, chance for history. Um, no team's ever done what the
the
Chiefs are
three-peat.
attempt I mean, the Chiefs are the first, ones attempting the three-peat to even make it back to the
Yeah.
Super
Oh,
Bowl.
you know who's the biggest Chief fan this weekend? Pat Riley. Do you know why?
Oh, because he's gonna make money because yeah, he's allowed the Chiefs to use his copyrighted phrase of three-peat.
He owns the
Yeah, so you can
copyright
go
to the
make a
phrase
bazillion
three-peat.
dollars.
Pat Riley. And he got that after the Lakers, after the Celtics, after they all did it, after the Bulls. Like, man, what a smart man.
Yeah,
So he's the biggest Chiefs fan
yeah.
there is this weekend. He could retire.
Man needs some more
Ooh,
hair
does he?
product, so he's definitely banking on
He
making some
de-
money
he
there.
definitely likes that high shine. You know what I mean? High
Yeah,
hold, high
I mean,
shine. If that's what it says, I'm down.
he's feeling pretty good, got rid of Jimmy Butler, now he's got a shot to make, like, a bazillion dollars off of all those Swifties rocking three-peat shirts, like,
Oh, Jesus Christ.
yeah.
So, all right. So you're rooting Chiefs. I'm just rooting for a good game.
I mean, I wouldn't would I be bummed if the Chiefs didn't win? Sure, but, it's not like they're going up against a fluke like 8-8 wild card team who probably shouldn't, obviously can't have
Yeah.
8-8 now, but you know what I mean. Like, it's not like they're going against the Giants and winning by a David Tyree bubblegum catch to the helmet. Like,
Yeah.
you know, if they get destroyed, I'll feel differently, but I don't see that happening. Like, I don't see this being a Tampa Bay shellacking.
Yeah, I don't really either. I think it's gonna be close. So hoping for a good game. Um,
But that does lead to my
I was
fun
gonna ask, would
fact.
you have a fun fact this week? What's your fun fact?
I do. So Devonta Smith, wide
Yeah.
receiver for the Eagles, is vying to be the fifth player ever to win a Heisman, a national championship, and a Super Bowl.
Okay. Okay. The national champ.
None of the other ones are quarterbacks.
Really? I was just thinking. I
Yes.
immediately went through quarterbacks in my head. Was Mark Ingram one when he was on the
No.
Saints? Was he on that Saints team that won the Super Bowl with Drew Brees? I don't remember. Oh my.
He may have had there are some that are close, but he does
He
not
doesn't.
have all
He
three.
must not have
Mark
the
Ingram
Super
does
Bowl
not.
then, because I know he has the Heisman and I know he has the national championship.
Correct.
They're not. Oh my. Are any of them recent? Ish. Recent
The
ish.
the most recent one played college in the early
Reggie
2000s.
Bush.
Yes.
So the Saints. Yeah. So he was the Saints running back when they won the Super Bowl. It was Reggie Bush.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. I'm not going to get any of these other ones. I don't think. Um, Probably a lot of running backs early on.
There are 2 there are 2 other running backs, and there is a
Eric
defensive player.
Dickerson. Did he? No. Jim Brown.
Nope.
Okay, I'm at loss.
Now, I will say that I am bummed because there are
Charles
3 other
Woodson. Charles
guys that don't
Woodson
get Charles
with Green
Woodson.
Bay. He was with Green Bay when he won the Super Bowl, and
Yeah,
then yeah, Charles Woodson.
he's the
How
defender.
was it not Peyton Manning?
Now
Did he
there's
never
2
win a
running
national? He did not win. No, did he not win the national?
He also didn't win the Heisman
Won it
because
that
Charles
year. That's right.
Woodson won it the year.
All right,
Yes,
I named three, two. Who are the other three?
2. Yeah. The other 2 currently are, Tony Dorsett,
Okay, yeah, I'm dumb.
and Marcus
Marcus
Allen.
Allen. Marcus Allen, of course. I was
Now, I will say there are 3 other guys who have done this, except it wasn't the Super Bowl. They won NFL
okay. That
championships
doesn't.
because it was
Okay,
prior to Super
I don't
Bowl
want to see
era.
black and white pictures and leather helmets and stuff like that. Okay.
Well, one of them was like 2 years before the Super Bowl era started, so, that's a
Yeah,
little,
I know. Let's not go back
you
to
know.
that. So that's interesting. So Devontae Smith would be that guy.
Devonta Smith would be the 5th guy.
Those other four are like pretty much maybe not Reggie Bush, but the other three are Hall of Famers. So I don't think
Yeah,
Devontae Smith
exactly.
will end up being a Hall of Famer, but I don't think Reggie Bush will be.
He's got a way
Yeah,
he's got a
Reggie
ways
Bush
to
probably
go.
won't be one
He's got a
either,
way.
but that's crazy.
And by the way, this is a recent thing for him to be tacked on because obviously in 2010 they made him give back his Heisman. Well,
Yeah, I was
he
gonna say, but he
voluntarily
got it
gave it.
back, right?
He got it back because the NIL
Yeah, yeah,
rules
yeah.
came in, and so
So
they
it
were like,
was so
"Well,
there was
now
one
give
less player for a while. It's like Pluto. It's
There
like
was
Pluto being a
only
planet, For a while it just wasn't.
correct. There was only 3.
Yeah.
Now there's 4
Oh,
because
we're
the rules
totally
changed
back.
and they gave him
Pluto's
back.
totally back, and so is Reggie Bush. All right.
So yes, if you cite a source from 2023, it'll say there's 3. If you cite a source from 2024, it will correctly say there's 4 players that have it
Yeah.
because Reggie Bush's Heisman is
So we talked about
contentious.
football and football there on this episode. What a great
There you go.
way to do. Any last words?
And by the way, there's only 5 current players in the NFL that can pull this off.
Derrick Henry.
Yes. Joe Burrow almost did it.
Let's say not Joe Burrow did it.
If the Bengals
Yeah,
have beaten the
Joe Burrow
Rams,
can
Joe
still pull
Burrow.
it off though.
Correct.
And Derrick Henry.
Yes, Derrick Henry is the furthest back Heisman winner that can pull it off.
Not Jaden Daniels, not Caleb Williams.
The guy who won a year before Caleb did.
Who's that?
Bryce Young.
Oh, Bryce. Okay.
Not that he's going to. I'm just saying these are guys that have the Heisman and the national championship.
Okay.
Whether they get a Super Bowl, debatable.
Is there a running back somewhere in there that still has a chance beside Derrick Henry? Or is Mark Ingram and Derrick Henry the last 2 to win the Heisman as a running back? Am I missing a running
Derrick
back?
Henry, I think, is the last one to win the Heisman as a running back.
So are they all quarterbacks then?
But
Baker Mayfield didn't win a national championship.
Devonta Smith. This includes
Devontae Smith. Okay, so who's the last one we're missing?
Oh God, now
I gotta look it up now.
I had a list of the Heisman winners and I had it figured out, and now I forgot because this was like 4 hours ago.
And here we are going through it again.
Lamar didn't do it. So Derrick Henry is 1, Joe Burrow's 2, Bryce Young 3, Devonta Smith is 4, and Kyler. I think it's Kyler.
Did Jameis Winston win?
Oh no, it's Jameis. Yes.
I'll say that Florida State win a national championship one of those years. They did, right?
There you go. That's the 5th. It's Jameis.
Jameis. I'm rooting for that. I'm rooting for the Jameis triple. I'm rooting for the Jameis Winston triple. I am rooting for the Jameis Winston triple, baby.
Totally. So he's actually the furthest back because he won it 2 years before.
Yeah, if Baker Mayfield can come back and rejuvenate his career, so can Jameis Winston, baby. Let's go.
He's eating W-shaped beignets in New Orleans right now.
Love that. Well, so yeah, any last thoughts on the Premier League or anything going on? Obviously, we talked about the transfer window closing. We talked about Champions League and the spots and what's going on currently Tottenham. And I mean, we're kind of going to see what happens this weekend as we go back into it. We had a little bit of a break, but
yeah, we get FA Cup this weekend, so there's some some Premier League teams are still playing some lower level. Like my daughter's team that she's rooting for, Ipswich, is playing Coventry. You got Tottenham against Villa. Nottingham Forest is playing Exeter after having trained in Bahrain this week, or UAE, some like Dubai, somewhere in there.
That sounds fun.
So we'll see. And then Liverpool gets Everton midweek next week, and then everybody will be evened up for until the next round of games.
And away we go with Man U and Tottenham still dropping. Still dropping 13 and 14th in the table. Crazy stuff. Crazy stuff. Newcastle, by the way, at 6th. Man City 5th. Chelsea 4th. The 9 Forest, Arsenal, Liverpool. Aston Villa is in that 8th spot. So they are lurking a little bit. And
by the way, Nottingham Forest is one of only 2 teams to ever lose one game by 5 or more goals and then win the next Premier League game by 5 or more goals.
They had to, come back. They had to redo the. They actually end up plus
losing
2
by 5, and then in a 2-game stretch, still having a positive goal
by 2 on multiple bottom. That's crazy.
Yeah.
All right, everybody, enjoy your FA Cup. Enjoy the Super Bowl, the Superior Owl. Go Chiefs for your sake, Matthew Sells. Until next week.
Gotta win something of
Yeah, true. Well, you got 9 M4. You got that. Yeah.
That's true. Not all.
Enjoy the Superior Bowl, everybody. We'll see you next week on Keepin It EPL. See you.